Hi everybody, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is my first angel card reading video for 2019, not 2017 as I said in an earlier video, which I've now deleted. So anyway, now that I'm clear on what year it is, I'm about to start reading some cards for you, starting from Monday the 7th of January 2019. So I want to apologise for not being able to do a video last week. As I said, I had a head cold. It had started to ease by the weekend, but I just wasn't in a position to talk long enough to do a reading because I was so congested and it was coughing and sneezing and spluttering, and it just wasn't going to work. So thank you for allowing me the space to do the healing I needed to do. It takes time, and now I'm much better. So thank you to everyone who reached out as well. I really appreciate how many people sent me healing vibes, which is really lovely and thoughtful. So I'll start shopping now for Monday, and let's see what comes up for us. Oh, cards are away. Bridget, don't back down. Look how feisty, maybe feisty is not the right word, how fiery she looks. She is absolutely resolute in this picture. This is what I believe, and this is what I'm going to do. So sometimes we're tempted to back down in situations because we might be afraid of confrontation. Hello, Libras, looking at you. Or maybe just we don't want to rock the boat, especially if you're a woman. You will have been probably socially conditioned that you don't want to make a fuss, or you don't want to be seen as difficult. But this card is saying you need to follow through with what you believe is right, because when we go along with the peace, when we swallow our feelings in order to keep the peace, we start a war within ourselves. And that will cause you a whole lot more stress and discontentment, and you'll keep attracting those situations until you learn a lesson. So there are certainly times for not standing up and saying what's right. I know that sounds a bit weird, but sometimes there are times when we do have to swallow our tongues, such as when we're going to cause someone a lot of grief. But this is one of those times, or when we're forcing our beliefs onto them, perhaps that might be another example. But this card is asking you to make this an opportunity or a situation where you do actually stand up for what you believe is right. It might be concerning you, it might be concerning someone else, and you're intervening. Whatever it is, do not back down. And don't forget that doesn't mean you have to be aggressive. It's about being assertive, which are different things. It's not about being nasty or, bullying or any of that stuff. It's all about just standing around saying, no, this isn't acceptable and this isn't right. So, Tuesday, child. There's always a couple of different meanings with this one. So one of them is asking you to indulge your inner child and have some fun, because we spend too much time fulfilling obligations and we forget that we need to be having some fun. So be a bit playful today. It's the fun card. The other thing is it can be asking you to trust, have the trust of a child. Children aren't worried about their future, or hopefully they're not, unless they're in a particularly bad home situation. Have a trust that everything's just going to work out fine. They're not usually worrying about where their next meal is going to come from. The other thing is, I realise that sounds very privileged, but I'm trying to speak in general terms here. The other thing is, this could be literally about a child that you have a great bond with, and asking you to spend more time with that child, or really take the time to listen to them and support them with whatever they need. Or it could be talking about you having children yourself. If that's something you want to do, go ahead and hold on to that hope, and don't give up on it. I forgot to put my phone on silent. Hope you didn't just hear my phone beeping in the background. Wednesday. Hopefully it doesn't ring. Usually doesn't. Should be okay. Who even uses the phone for calls these days? It's totally for texting. Wednesday, the 9th of January, base chakra. So if you are not familiar with chakras, here's a very, very quick overview. They are energy centers in our energy field, which is not in our body, it's outside our body. And our life force energy moves through that energy field, and in particular through these chakras, these energy centers. But if the chakras are blocked, or they're out of balance, there's no harmony in there, the energy gets stuck and doesn't move very easily, and that can affect your well-being emotionally, physically, mentally, etc., and spiritually, obviously. So the base, I know in North America they tend to refer to it as the root chakra. It's the first one. There are 7. There are actually a lot more, significantly more, but we only focus on the main 7 ones in, well, this particular card deck does, but certainly in Reiki, those are our main priority. And it's concerned with our material needs, so food, money, and it's concerned with our sense of belonging, our sense of identity. It's the first one that forms. I forget how old, but certainly before the age of 1, it's formed. So you are very susceptible to anything going on in your life around those. For example, if you grew up in poverty, you might have some blocks in there around, whether you've got a fear of poverty again, or whether you, got money blocks as a result of that, or perhaps if you were adopted or anything like that, or you had a parent walk out that you never got to know, or perhaps you were estranged from your cultural, your ethnic kind of story, if that's the right word to put it. Perhaps you were relocated and you were not connected to those bonds. That can come up because that's all around identity. Not saying it's intrinsic to identity, but if it's missing for some people, it certainly could feel that way. Gosh, there's so many ways this can show up. Certainly our ideas about security, whether you feel safe in the world, and obviously money can be part of that. If people don't feel like they've got enough, or that they worry they'll lose everything, or some people just don't feel safe to go through the world being themselves. I know that's a bit of a long-winded kind of explanation. I will post an article about this on my Facebook page. You don't have to be on Facebook to read it. You can just go straight to my website and type base chakra in the search field. It'll come up. And this card asks you to address any blocks or imbalances you might have there. You might have not enough energy. You might have too much energy. Don't worry too much about diagnosing yourself. That's okay. Just be aware of where any of those issues are playing out for you, and what you need to, what you might need to do to remedy that. Maybe you need to challenge some of those beliefs around money, for example, that are coming out. Maybe you need to do some work on making yourself feel safer in the world. Obviously, if there's any deeper stuff, I would always advocate energy healing. I am an energy healer. Of course, I'm going to say that, aren't I? But I am a fan of energy healing because it's so deep and works on such an unconscious level to really shift any blocks and beliefs you've got there. So, of course, I'm going to say that. It goes deeper than any other modality I know of. So, Thursday, the 10th of January. Signs. Probably the number one thing I get asked about by people is about signs. So there are a number of typical ways that you can be sent a sign. So they might include finding feathers or coins in unexpected places. I've told the story before, but I once found a whole lot of feathers and went around the corner and there was a dead seagull. I was working on the waterfront in Auckland, so of course there were going to be seagulls around. So I mean, you've got to bear that context in mind. My friend has a lot of budgies. She's always finding feathers around her house. That is not a sign. So yeah, when it's unexpected and totally random. So also, now I'm not saying if you find one in a park, that's not a sign. Of course, there's going to be birds in a park, but if it happens to be right, and you can tell, it's your intuition will tell you, it'll be right on your path, or your eye will be guided to it for some reason. Never go looking for signs. They will find you, because if you go looking for them, you're going to be overthinking everything, and that's not helpful. Music is a massive one. The angels will use music a lot. It might be that a song comes on the radio that is meaningful to you because of your history, or maybe the lyrics are just significant to your situation. Clusters of butterflies, that can often be a sign from someone who's passed on as well, not just angels. What else? Gosh, I talk about this stuff all the time, and here I am forgetting. Seeing distinctive or meaningful cloud formations. You can find amazing examples online of people who've seen like actual angel faces or wings or things in clouds. Rainbows can be another one. Maybe if you live in Iceland, that's not a sign. Rainbows seem to happen there all the time because it rains so much. What else would I say? Oh, digits. This is a big one. If you see repeated digits, especially ones, so you keep seeing 1111 on your time or your grocery store bill or whatever, till receipt, whatever it is, if you keep seeing that, that's a big sign as well. And you can find a lot of information about number signs online. To be honest, it's not something I know a huge amount about. But never ask for a sign. Sorry, always ask for a sign if you need it, but never specify what type of sign, because you're just limiting the angels too much, and they need space to be able to bring things through for you. And maybe don't ask for a sign if you're just in your room by yourself, because you need to be out in the world where they can kind of bring these things to you. That's not a hard and fast rule. It might be that you ask for a sign and then a couple of hours later, when you do happen to be out and about, you find it, or a couple of hours later something comes on TV that's significant. I don't know, whatever it is. But just be aware that they don't usually appear on demand, and they don't usually, and often the angels need a bit of space to bring things through for you. So uplift your thoughts for Friday. It's about positive thinking. Now, as always, when I'm talking about positive thinking, I want to make it really super clear. I am not a fan of pretending things are great when they're not. It's not that rose-tinted glasses kind of approach, because we need to acknowledge when things are crappy. We need to acknowledge when we're not happy, because those things have something to teach us. And so this is asking you to, whenever I talk about positive thinking, what I'm normally talking about is definitely acknowledging where you're at, but being optimistic about the potential for things to change, and understanding that everything passes, so including joy, which is why it's not something to aspire for, because it passes, like all human emotions. But what this is really talking about is making sure that you are focusing on what's right, not what's wrong with your situation. We have this negativity bias where we tend to go for what's missing. Like, you'll forget all the great feedback that your boss gave you, but you'll zero in on the one thing they gave you, which is a little bit critical. So do be aware of where you're doing that. And it's not saying disregard the negative stuff. It's just saying focus more on the donut than the hole. I love that quote. I use it all the time. Because whatever you draw your attention to is what's going to expand in your life. So we want to make sure our focus is always more on what's right than what's wrong, inverted commas. Because if you're constantly feeding the story of nothing ever goes right for me, I never win anything, I never get anything, no one ever wants to spend time with me, that's what you're going to create, and you don't want to do that. Let's go for Saturday's card. Interesting. This card is passion, and this is a time of year when people are often thinking about things like passion because they have got New Year's resolutions, or they've got things they want to focus on. Maybe they're thinking about changing their job. So this card advocates making passion a part of your decision-making process. If you are thinking about your job and getting a new one, look at where your passions are. I'm not saying only settle for don't settle. I'm not saying only go for a job that makes you happy 100% of the time. That is a unicorn. It doesn't exist. Every job has some drudgery, some challenges, and some low points. That's just life. But what it is saying is look at something that's really focusing in on the areas you're passionate about, or using some sort of skill set that you're passionate about. That's only for people who are looking at jobs at the moment. For most people, well, not most, but some people, this isn't about job. It's about the amount of passion in their lives. Oh, God, I keep kicking this. Sorry for that vibration. The amount of passion in their lives. We keep looking for other things, external things to give us passion. The person in your relationship will bring passion, or maybe I'll move to a new city and then there'll be more passion because I'll be in a vibrant place. And it's really not up to your circumstances to bring through passion. It's up to you to generate it yourself. And sometimes, yes, you do have to do things that make you happy to find, that don't make you happy initially to find it. For example, some people discover a passion for music, but the first time they try and play that guitar, they suck at it. But it's only over time that they discover that it is something they're really passionate about. Definitely ask your angels to help you uncover your passion if that's something you want to do. But again, like I said before, this card is about making sure your life is not all obligation and drudgery. You have to make sure there is an element of passion in it, because life's kind of here to be enjoyed. It's not just here to learn big lessons. Excuse me, it's my throat again. So Sunday, oh, blessed. I'm about to sneeze, I think. No, I'm good. So, beautiful picture. I love this card deck. Oh, sorry. That was a false alarm, I thought. No. So this is very similar to that uplift your thoughts message, because it's asking you to focus on all the ways that you are blessed. Hashtag blessed. So again, when you focus on the blessings in your life, you attract in more blessings. So that's very important. And maybe you could just, because this is a Sunday, a day when most of us are not working, maybe you could set some time apart today to actually think about all the things that are good in your life. You don't have to call it a gratitude practice if you don't like that word, but focusing on all the many ways that you're blessed. We often forget that what we have now, a lot of what we have now, were things that we wanted 2, 3, 5 years ago. So, but we're too busy focusing on the next thing to kind of acknowledge that. So there's so much that's great in your life, and you will really benefit from taking time to really think about all the blessings that are there, and make sure you're not getting stuck on that absence of things that you are still trying to bring through, because everything takes time. So looking at the week, I think that mindset stuff around focusing on our blessings is one theme that we have. And I think finding joy and passion with the child card, and which is, that fun kind of element. And yeah, there's that passion card there as well. That's it for the week. Thank you very much for watching. I will put these on my social media if you don't already know. My Instagram is called @OneGroundedAngel. I have changed the settings so you can only comment on the cards or message me if you're following me. That's one step of troll stopping behavior. But I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you're probably already following me, or across that in some level anyway. But I do want to hear from you guys, so please don't let that stop you. It's pretty easy to follow me and message me and share your thoughts. But do bear in mind, I can't give personal guidance outside of a reading, an appointment, because that wouldn't be fair on the people my paying clients who have paid to have sessions with me. And I've got limited time, so definitely book a slot if you want to go through some stuff in depth. What else I need to tell you? Oh, my Facebook page, One Grounded Angel, and my blog. I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to find that base chakra article, it's www.onegroundedangel.com. If you're on your smartphone, you will have to scroll down quite a bit to get to the search field, but on your your laptop or MacBook or whatever, it does come up on the right hand side. That's it for the week, and I look forward to reading for you again next week. Take care.